Hello, nice to see you, nice. I just have to share it on Facebook. Sorry, I just got a letter from YouTube and then got a bit lost there for a moment. So welcome to Livestream. If this is the first time you've been on Livestream, then I'm going to tell you how it works. So the way I do Livestream is through YouTube, but you can ask me questions and call in through Skype. And my Skype address is Lisa Cairns 12. You can find that in the box below, and you just send me a friend request on Skype, and then you can ask me questions or you can call in. When you call in, please have a headset with a microphone like this. It can be any, doesn't have to be an Apple one, but just so it has a microphone in it. And make sure you know how to use Skype as well. Live talks are every Sunday and Wednesday at 6 p.m. French time. And this talk is called, I've forgotten what the name of the talk is. It's called Being Grateful for What You Are. Yes, yes. If you want to come to any of my events, I'm just going to read them out to you now. These are my up and coming events. And please make sure you like the video. I never normally ask people to do that, to like videos, but YouTube are changing all of their policies, and this is becoming important to YouTube. It was before, but whether they're changing all their algorithms, and it's just becoming important to them that you like it. So I think that then you can see it in your homepage, or I don't know what it is, but they send me all these messages telling me what's important to them and what's not, and liking my videos is important to them. So the first thing is Retreat in Tiruvannamalai, India, which is 13 to the 20th of January 2019. So that's in a few weeks. That's very exciting. I do open talks in India, which is the 6th to 12th of January, the 24th to the 30th of January, and the 2nd to the 8th of February. And you can find that more information on my website, which again is in the link below. I do talks in Berlin and Schwanenstoff, Germany, the 23rd, 29th and 30th of March 2019. And I do an Easter retreat in southern Spain, the 18th to the 25th of April. So that's Easter weekend. So it's Thursday, and then Easter Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And the Sunday is the Easter, I think. So it's directly over that weekend. And it should be very nice weather at that time of year. It's very beautiful. I love doing my retreats there. What else? Did I say everything? Did I say everything? I don't always look at the messages on YouTube. So if you're writing to me on YouTube, just be aware that I don't always look at them. That is all. So at the beginning of my talks, I like to do some silent sitting. Not because I believe it's going to get you enlightened, because who would be enlightened, but because I think it's a nice thing to do and I like it, and it couldn't be any other way. Okay, so that's enough for sitting in silence. Now to the talking in silence. So what's the title of the talk again? Being grateful for what you are. So in the end, who could be grateful? So who is it that's grateful? So there can't actually be somebody that's grateful. Because who would be grateful? Like, what are you grateful for? And then at the same time, how could it be any other way than what it is? How could anything be different from what's happening? So you might think that your life or things are going better for you than for other people, that your gratitude, you feel grateful compared to not having money or not having lovers, but it couldn't be any other way than what it is. Life can only be what's happening. You might think you have a choice. So you might think, I can choose whether to take this investment opportunity or that investment opportunity. And then if it goes well, you can feel grateful for it, but it couldn't be any other way. The idea that you did that is a lie. You can only ever have one thing happen, and you never choose to go any other way than the way that you went. You didn't really have an option. An option is an illusion. The idea that you had a choice is an illusion. It appears that there was a choice, but there can only have ever been one thing that happened. And the way you know that is through your experience. Did your experience ever show you that two possible things can happen, or did it only ever show you one thing can happen? One thing. Did you ever actually have two possibilities? You might go into the shop and say, should I choose the banana or the apple? And then you choose the banana, and the banana is amazing and it tastes delicious, and you're like, I am so grateful that I got that banana. But it couldn't have been any other way. You could never have chosen the apple. You could only have ever chosen the banana. But your mind says you could have chosen the apple, so you've got a better thing because you chose the banana. But you didn't. You just did exactly what was meant to happen, and that action was a result of everything else that happened, including the butterfly that was flying in the rainforest in the Amazon, including the Big Bang, including all the humans that came before. If all the humans hadn't made exactly the choices that they'd made before, this moment of you would never have happened. Your parents meeting and your grandparents and great-grandparents making love on a particular day which produced a particular child, that child making exactly the same choices that it made, not making different choices, which led to this moment of you being now. And then in this moment now, you believe that you can be grateful for something that you chose in the past as opposed to a different choice, which is a total lie. You can only have what you have because that's what happened. And that was a result of everything, not a result of you, or not because you were special to get something because you made a particular choice. There is only what's happening. There is only what's happening. It couldn't be any other way. It couldn't be any other way. It's just what it is. So you can't be grateful for something as opposed to something else. You can't be grateful now that you've got this life as opposed to somebody in Africa, as opposed to somebody, not saying there's something wrong with Africa, but we have this image in the West, if you're listening from Africa, that there's a lot of poverty in Africa. So being poor in Africa, being very poor in Africa. It couldn't be any other way. So you can't be grateful for anything as opposed to something else because it couldn't have been something else. You can only be what you are in your life. It's not that your life is predestined, but your life is only one way. It's not 2 or 3 or 4 ways. It's one way, and that's your experience. Your experience is, it's always the way it is. Your experience isn't multiple possibilities or multiple realities. Although it might be for some people. Anything can happen. So, what can you be grateful then for being? For the fact that this is, that whatever it is appearing. Whatever it is appearing right now. You can even say things that you're grateful for, but not in comparison to something else, as just being grateful for them right now. It's like gratitude without gratitude. It's like love of being for nothing, for no freaking reason. Just love for it being, for appearing. Like loving this cup because it's so miraculous that this appears. And yeah, you can say I'm grateful for it, but it's not really gratitude. It's just awe that it is. It's this wonder of being that this is. With an incredibly tasty drink inside. It's twinkle juice. Very good if you've ever drunk it before. Pardon me. So true gratitude is love of what you have, not because of comparison to something else, but just of it being, just love. It's really your essence. To me, gratitude is your essence, this being, this sense of existence, this wonder at life, that this is. It's miraculous that this is. Everything, every goddamn thing, the detail in this dream is amazing. Look at it. Look at it. The way the tissue flaps. The movement of the white tissue, the fact it's white and it feels the way it feels. It's got that particular feeling, and that we all know what it is. And then when you blow your nose, it captures stuff that comes out of your nose. This is such a miraculous dream. It's so detailed. It is of awe. So true gratitude is awe at this, at what's happening. Poo, 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 poo. That was Lisa blowing her nose. We are. I'm excited. Gotta calm myself down. Got my little pheasant on today with her high heels. And the lunch that Lisa spilled down herself. There it is at the bottom. It's so funny, this personality. I have these new sofas. So I got new sofas a month or so ago. They're amazing. They're microfiber, and you can get any stain off them. But it took us a while to work out what microfiber it was and how to get the stain off it. And I'm clumsy. It's just what happens. I'm clumsy with everything. If I've got a nice fresh top on it and I have something to eat, more than likely the food is going to be on the fresh top. It's just the way it goes. So when I'm sitting on the new sofas, I put down blankets where I sit. So if I've got any food or anything that I could possibly spill on the sofa, doesn't go on the sofa. But still, I manage to get it all over the sofa. It's really funny. Like, even I seem to project it onto the other bits of the sofa. But these microfiber sobers are so amazing. You just wipe it with this alcohol and it's totally gone. I even got toffee on there. I even had toffee, and I managed to get this toffee and it went hard and really crisp. And then chocolate I got on there. I got mashed potato with margarine on it. Pen. I mean, I've only had it a month and I've managed to do all this to it. I just can't help it. Everything just goes everywhere. Always been the way. It's what happens with this character. This one spiritual teacher I met said, when you're enlightened, you'll no longer be clumsy because you'll be doing everything slowly and gently and you won't be clumsy. Even if I do it slowly and gently, it's going everywhere. It's just the destiny of this body. Never happened. I've traumatized Khaleesi from my clumsiness. If she sees that I'm carrying something, makes sure she gets out of my way because she knows that I often drop it. She's a little bit fearful when she sees I'm carrying something. But anyway, you don't want to know about my clumsiness. You want to know about the juice of this. How juicy this is. But even me speaking now, everything is it. So me telling you this story, you can just get totally lost in what I say. It's just falling in love with whatever is appearing. Everything. It's your essence. It's your nature. It's just you've forgotten it because you're focused too much on you and what you lack, what you believe you need. You focus too much on your emotional responses to things and then think that the answer to life is getting a positive emotional response. And the reason that you're unhappy is because you've got a negative emotional response. You even think of that like you think of enlightenment like that. The reason that I'm unhappy is because I'm not enlightened, and that's not true. The reason that you're unhappy is because you think happiness is a thing. That's it. When you were born, your essence was free. That childlike wonder of being, that childlike innocence was free. you're happy for no reason. For no reason at all. Just playing. And the game could be really rubbish. Like sometimes in the market square, I watch the kids play and they really seem to be playing nothing. They're just like, broom, broom, and then they're sort of running around on their broom brooms. I'm not even sure what the broom broom is, but they're all running around with it. Some of them are like galloping, some of them are running. And they don't really seem to have a point and they just keep doing it. Sometimes they change direction, but they're just so ecstatic, not for any reason, not because they're one day going to be the most successful game player in the universe or the most successful brum brum in the world, or they're going to beat their friends. They're just doing it for no reason, just for the wonder and the joy of being, just the excitement of yourself. And then as you get older, as the person gets older, it thinks that happiness is based on this or that, on being a certain way, on life being a certain way, on people being a certain way, on having particular emotions. And then you think about this in time. You keep thinking about how you could be happy and what's wrong. And the whole time you're focusing more and more on this me that doesn't even exist. It's a complete and utter illusion. Because who are you but this? And does you exist here? You is simply a thought, so how could you exist here? Woohoo! I have to hold myself back from exploding in the seat. I suddenly turn into my twinkle juice. Twinkle juice is actually humans that have exploded from joy. If you've never heard of twinkle juice, that's why it tastes so good. They just suddenly burst like confetti, like poof! And then other people can drink it. That sounds a little bit gross though when you start talking about eating humans. Maybe then. It's the way it is. Anything else that we could talk about? Anything else on the chest that wants to come off the chest? Chest, anything you want to express? Nope. Yes, there is something. Kitty. Okay, anything else, chest? That is your freedom, seeing that this is, and that's your essence. Your essence is what's happening, which is empty looking and this sense of existence. The empty looking is that nothing is looking now, because who is looking out? If you examine it, you find it's only stories and feelings. It's not actual reality. In the moment, there's actually an expansiveness that's not contained anywhere, and there's this sense of radiance, existence, this love. And that's with you everywhere you go. And this is why it's freedom and total unconditioned love, because it doesn't leave. You can be in a prison cell, you can be in a refugee camp, you can be in twinkle juice and be free. Yeah, it requires nothing. And that is true love. Love for nothing. Conditioned love is a love because you believe in something. You believe that you're happy because you are not in a refugee camp, because you have a home. And in that, you'll always be afraid of losing all those things because you believe your happiness is based on something, and happiness, what you are, is not based on anything. What's happening in the moment is a movement of pleasure and pain. So being homeless when it's cold is painful. Being homeless maybe when it's hot is painful as well. Having a home is pleasurable, and that is not your freedom. Pain and pleasure is something that's constantly coming and going. And it doesn't mean happiness. Happiness is your essence, that which is there all the time, but covered because you believe you are something and that you need to be happy and get happiness and own happiness for you. And sit on it like a chicken sitting on an egg. And then someone takes your egg and you're like, well, where did that go? Last time I looked it was there. And then the husband's all annoyed because you've lost your egg again. If you hadn't heard of that saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket, that's where it comes from. Oh yeah, and just for a lot of people that don't understand my humour, I just want to say a lot of the time I'm making fun and I'm just pretending I'm serious because I am. It's just what I'm doing. So the other day I was saying that meditation is very good for constipation, and I was joking. That was a joke. Meditation, I don't know if meditation is good or bad for constipation. I don't know if it gives you healthy bowels or not. I've never noticed a difference between meditating a lot and not. I've heard that if you meditate on a cold wall, then it does create piles, but I don't know if it helps with constipation or not. But I jokingly said that meditation helps with constipation, and then I got a lot of messages saying that this isn't a proven fact, and I was only making fun. The bit about piles, I'm not making fun. Apparently, if you sit on a cold wall and meditate, that does give you piles in your bottom. Or sitting on anything cold. I'm just being a banana because I eat lots of bananas. So then it manifests, you are what you eat. Thankfully, I don't eat a pig or a cow. I eat bananas. So it makes me like a monkey. Okay, enough of being silly. Let's get to the serious stuff. Let's take some questions. And now suddenly you're going to see my demeanor change. Somebody will express their suffering and then compassion will come from my heart. And I'm not mocking the suffering part. Like, I mean it. When I was younger, I always used to find it hard going from one character to the other, going from being the funny person to the sexy person, say, or the serious person. And I always used to reserve it for different friends, like different bits of the personality would come. But now I don't mind. I'm quite happy to be funny, sexy, stupid, all of them. And it just moves, from bit to bit. Thanks, Izzy. Tuk, tuk, tuk. Hi, Paul. What are you drinking? Great. Twinkle juice. Hi, Lisa. I have a question for you. Yes. I feel when I only perceive the moment a great, great fear of death. What can one do for it? Just carry on. Just allow that to come up. And it's just part of what you run from. As soon as you perceive that you're separate, there begins to be this growing fear of death. So you perceive that you're separate. You perceive that you're the body, so you believe that consciousness inside the body, and that the body, that you are alive because the body's alive, and then you begin to be afraid of your environment. And so when you begin to wake up, often there is fear that arises because that's what's been in the background. That's what's been motivating a lot of your life, and it's become a habit to run from this fear. So just allow it to come up. If it comes too much and you get too panicky, then go and be with other people, or change the channel, put some music on, or do something differently. But it's what I discovered is that fear has a certain capacity. There's only a certain amount of fear that you can get to when you go into the feeling. The like it's not it's not like fear goes on. The feeling of fear gets bigger and bigger, bigger infinitely. It has like a certain limit to the ability that you can feel fear. The difficulty is if you believe in the thoughts about your fear or not. So it's seeing that they're not true. So obviously if there's a lion running towards you, then you've got to run away from the lion. But I presume you're talking about sitting in your bedroom where there's nothing to be afraid of, but your mind is making up fear, like this will happen to you or that will happen to you. And it's whether or not you believe it, because some of them feel like reality, like you didn't do something, you didn't do work and you might lose your job because of it or something. But at the same time, like, why is it coming up when you're in your bedroom? You've got to deal with that when you deal with it. Like, it's your mind playing tricks on you. Unless it's reminding you to quickly do that piece of work that you didn't do, then it's a pointless thought, and why are you thinking about it? And it's getting lost in those thoughts and believing they have some reality that creates suffering. It doesn't mean that there's not practical points to fear. That's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes we have fear because there's action that needs to be taken. Fear is a very natural feeling, but then there's this other fear where you're lost in your sense of self, where the fear is an illusion, where you're getting deluded by it. Thank you for your question. Hi, Stello. Hello, Lisa Cairns. Happy to see you. Hello, Stello. Nice to see you. I wanted to be as excited about regular, ordinary life as you are. You just have to remember who you are. The reason that your life doesn't feel excited or as happy is because you're identified with feelings and you're looking to a feeling to experience happiness. So you're looking to excitement or joy, but underneath all of that there is a freedom. So there is a freedom when you're happy, joyful, angry, jealous, in pain. There is this natural joy, and that begins to be revealed as you stop being attached to pleasures and pains. When you see pleasures and pains as a natural cycle of life and not something which makes you worthy or makes you happy, as there is a disattachment to it. It's there all the time. So when you get something you want, the natural joy begins to emerge. So say if you really wanted the next Apple Mac Pro that came out, and the moment you get it you're like really happy and there's a joy that comes up, you believe that all of that's because you got the computer, and actually what it is that the seeking stopped in that moment. In that moment you didn't want to be anywhere else but with your new computer, so you no longer were wishing for another moment and your natural essence began to emerge. So that's what true happiness is seeing that it's in everything, in the ordinary, in the driving the car, in going to the toilet, in making the coffee, in opening the wallet, in looking out the window, in the desk. It's in the ordinary. The extraordinary is in the ordinary, extraordinary. Thank you, Stello. Hi, Vadios. Very nice sweater and a nice bird. Thank you. Gaddy. Hi, Gaddy. Hi, Lisa. Love you. Wanted to ask you about the imaginary eye. If it's only imaginary but cannot sense through the senses, something that is kept only for the true eye, so how can it know when we eat something sweet, or if we sense taste of a drink, or the relaxation of the body? I miss you. Message. Oh, nice. Yes, sorry, for a moment there I couldn't place you, but now I saw your picture. Nice, Gaddy, to hear from you. Because it's telling a story about all those things. So the imagined eye is telling the story about the banana and telling the story about the feelings that appear and saying, this banana tastes amazing. I need more bananas. I need to make sure I always have bananas in the house. I need to always have it breakfast, lunch, dinner. And then when there's no bananas, it freaks out. So it can't sense them, but it's like a formation that appears reporting back about them. Isn't that amazing? it's so complicated the way it's all happening. And in a way, like, I say it as if I really strongly know, but also it's just mysterious. I can assure you, though, suffering is the attachment to that I, and what that I believes is happiness. It's to a person, and the person's pleasures and pains, and that's suffering. And freedom from that is this moment, is what's happening now. This empty looking and this sense of existence. Hi, Marajana. Nice to meet you. Hi, Camilla. Haircut, looking lovely as ever, including your cute roller pullover. Yes, I cut my hair today. I woke up and I decided to cut it. It's nice to have shorter hair. Hi, Lisa. I have a question about my job. I have been working with some beautiful people for the past years, and their love is so strong and energetic, and people coming there really feel transformed just meeting them. Me too. Since last week that I started doing intense sadhana with my guru, like 4 or 5 hours of Hafna sadhana in one session. So much of my life has changed and so many relationships crumble. I have no interest in those relationships anymore, yet a part of me misses those beautiful energies and moments. There is a concept in Islam that says we have to sacrifice everything for truth, especially those that are so beautiful in our life. I feel this relationship I had with these beautiful angelic people might have been what I needed to sacrifice, and in my intense sadhana period, it happened so effortlessly. It is like life is completely without any relationship whatsoever. But hang on, you only started doing it last week. Those relationships crumbled quickly. I'm sure you just made the mistake in what you're writing. Okay, you only started doing it last week. I don't know. These are all stories. Even the idea that you have to lose all your relationships or sacrifice it all for truth. Yeah, maybe, but also then you're just right here. You're like here, and then all of that seems like a big old drama. I have known them for the past 3 years, but you only started doing it. It says, and in my intense sadhana period, it happened so effortlessly. I have known them. Yeah, but you only started doing your sadhana practice last week. You haven't given them up for very long. Just yes. 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 Hey, Thomas. Quilia. Hi, Lisa. Could you please say a few words about seeking in vision, looking at the physical world, the eyes, and then to stop seeking in the vision, looking? I mean, seeking in looking differently from seeking in gestures and seeking in thought. Thank you. I don't know what you mean. Seeking in vision. Like vision is in like looking for the perfect table or the perfect looking house or the perfect, I don't know what you mean by that. Arching. Hi Lisa, if there is not apparent free will, does it also mean that all is predetermined? Sort of, but not really. Now determines the future. Everything is spontaneously happening, but it couldn't be any different from what's happening. Another question, is there anything that is real? Another question, what do you think of past lives, future lives, reincarnation? Your ferret stain pullover is cute. Is that reality? Is there anything that's real? This is real and unreal. This is happening and not happening. This is total mystery, but yet it is. It is. Everything else comes and goes, real and unreal. This. Your answers are here. You want a nice intellectual package that you can take home and be like, that's the way life's working, and it's not working like this. The only thing that you know for sure is what's happening, and what's happening is total mystery, and it's happening and not happening. It is and it isn't. It's happening, like this is seemingly happening, but it's also not happening, because how is this happening? It is and it isn't. And what is real and unreal? What does it even matter to you? It matters to you because you want like a whole manifesto on why and how life is happening, and be like, now I can argue this with my neighbors, blah, blah. Whereas the simplicity of this is enough. You don't need a manifesto to be this, to be free. You can be an absolute idiot and get that this is it. Or you can be an absolute genius and get that this is it. And it's not even a getting. It's not an intellectual getting. It's not something you understand. It is. It's collapsing back into what you are and seeing past all delusions of the mind, of the opposites. That this is free. This is everything. Everything you think is just a thought, and it comes and goes, and it's only helping you on survival, and it doesn't mean anything. This doesn't mean chair. This doesn't mean human. This doesn't mean eyes. This doesn't mean blonde. It doesn't mean anything. It's just sounds, and you've taken sounds to be reality. And what's left if you take out all sounds and sit here naked of a belief in any sound or any feeling or anything that appears? There is presence. There is this empty looking. And that is who you are. Bum bum. Hi. There is feeling of heaviness in the body. How to get rid of it? Accept it. Stop trying to get rid of it. Allow it to be there. But then also acknowledge that it's not your allowing. But that doesn't mean that you don't put effort into allowing it. Hi, Marcus. I love it when you are so playful and banana-like. Bananas are great. Yes. Yes. That's how I do to Khaleesi. I go, yes. Yes. When she's done something good. Yes. I like doing that. I open the door. She's happy. Yes. Hi, son. But last week when I started some intense practices, these relationships started feeling like without point. From their point of view, they feel that why I am not being in love with them anymore. It is a dead corpse standing in front of them, but full of life. Son, I think you're being incredibly dramatic. You don't need to tell anyone that. That's your gentle glow. Of course there's nobody standing in front of you. Of course there's nobody there. There is just love. And you can never really be in love with someone or not be in love with someone. Your essence is love. It's just some people, when you're seeking and when you're separate, some people give you that feeling of presence and then you think you're in love with them, but you've never been in love with them. But then when you see this, you don't even need to tell them, because who has that need to say there is nobody in love with you or not you? And I'm like a dead corpse but full of life. You don't need to say that to anyone. The others don't even need to know that. That you just carry on the same, as if there are relationships. You don't need to then pretend there's no relationships and then be like, I'm a dead corpse, you're a dead corpse. And then if you're not in love with them anymore, like you're not wanting to share time with them anymore or something, then it means that you were never really into them in the first place, because love is your essence. And then you're attracted to people that have similar not vibrations, but similar energies as you. Like, so say with Khaleesi, my dog, she doesn't see other dogs and she doesn't think she's someone, but there's some dogs she likes and sometimes some dogs she doesn't. Some she just plays with and some she's like, oh, piss off. And that's the way it is. So if this person, so now after this feeling that you've got, if you no longer want to interact with them, it's because you were interacting with them from an intellectual basis or something. There wasn't just a natural like and enjoyment of them. Hi, Conrad. Hi, Miss Buddha. I think you're really beautiful. So what's your favorite chocolate? Well, the favorite chocolate. It's a very important question. I really like Maltesers, if I'm honest with you, but English Maltesers, not American or French or any of that. English Maltesers. They taste different in every country. But I don't like the milking of the cow. So I would rather not eat milk chocolate, but sometimes that happens. Hi, Quiella. In other words, about surrendering the experience of the physical world, what is seen without any intention to look with focus. Quiella. I don't know how you say your name or from what country, but I suspect it's Italian. Quiella. In other words, about surrendering the experience of the physical world, what is seen without any intention to look with focus. God, I have no idea what you're talking about, Quiella. And then to stop seeking in vision, looking. I mean seeking in looking, different from seeking in gestures. In other words, about surrendering the experience of the physical world, what is seen without any intention to look with focus. I don't know, I think that you're coming from a different speaker, or you've been reading a different book from the way I speak, and I've got a way in which I tend to speak, and that doesn't fit into my categories of the way I tend to speak. So basically I'll just go on intuition, and I get the sense you're asking what is consciousness, and consciousness is no thing that is everything, because if there is no place and no thing that it is, then it naturally resides in everything that is. Paul, like the champagne. Paul. Lisa, please. What's your thoughts on G.D. Krishnamurti? There is no guru, no master. You are the master, you are the pupil, you are the guru. Just comment from you. I don't like talking about other people behind their backs. Although sometimes I do it, and I don't like it. I think it's a very stupid thing to do, to talk about other people, because then one day you're going to meet that person, especially when you're broadcasting it. I know that Krishnamurti is dead, but I might meet his best friend. It's not an intelligent thing to do, to talk about other people behind their back. It always tends to come back to you, but we all have a temptation. Sometimes temptation takes over and we... Thank you, Lisa. With pleasure, son. Arching. Okay, so remove all your senses. What is left? In other words, what or who perceives this moment once you remove all senses? Consciousness. And consciousness is nothing, which is everything. Woof. Done all the questions. Done all the questions. I just have to tell you, if you're coming to one of my live talks in India, I'm not so bolshy with the people asking questions in person. I tend to be a lot more respectful. I'm so bolshy in my introductions and the way I am, but I tend to be a little bit more respectful. Not respectful, that's not the right word, but a little bit more engaging with the energy of the person that's asking the question. So if they're suffering a lot, I can see it and I'm more responsive to that. When people are writing to me on Skype, I can't really tell if their question's coming from like really heavy, desperate energy or really happy, joyful energy. Just so, you know, if you come to a live talk. We'll just look on YouTube, see if there's any questions. Acknowledge the individual intent for love and the self-desire for love. Growth is always in a love state. Okay, not many questions on there really. Okay, I expected this answer. I'm not somehow able to comprehend that consciousness does not require subtract. Is there any proof or experience one can get this? Yeah, you're right. I'm just going to talk about this arching, whatever your name may be. I'm just going to talk about this in a personal story to make it easier to understand. I've told this story many a time, but for those that this is the first time, then you can hear it fresh. For those that have heard it before, then you can, listen again. Well, absolutely pointless me saying that, but hey ho. So basically, this is a very interesting question. So what we got is in every moment there's always experiencing. No matter what, there is always experiencing happening. And experiencing isn't separate from the objects. So there is no experiencing inside the body. There is experiencing that's happening and there's no separation. You can't, when you begin to examine the experience, you can't find a difference between an object and the consciousness of the object. At first, you think it comes from in the head or behind the head, but the more you explore, the more you see that consciousness and every object are the same. And then you sort of see that all objects and sensory perception are the same, because you only know an object through looking, hearing, smelling, taste, or feeling, or thinking about it. So then you sort of see that, in a way, objects are sensing as well, and consciousness. What happened to me when I was in India many, many moons ago was that I was still in the waking up process, and I was laying in bed, and I don't know what happened, if I fell asleep or I was awake or what happened, but I was laying on bed, and then there was awakeness, there was consciousness, and there was no objects at all. There was nothing to be aware of. There was just awakeness, and it was no color, it was no feeling, no sensation. There was no idea that was happening. There was no sense of boredom. I couldn't think, oh, I'm being conscious. That could have gone on for infinity. It could have been endless amount of time, and there was no perception of time. There was just awake presence happening, and it was totally content. It was even beyond contentment. It had no sense of discontentment. Then eventually, at some point, after what could have been infinite amount of time, which it was in a way, a thought popped up and said, this is what they talk of. And then another thought said, if this is what they talk of, who am I that they talk to? Because I had no sense of self either. And then an image of Lisa arose, and a whole life arose. And then the sounds of the outside world began to arise. And then the colours of the world and objects in the world began to arise. And that was a really important awakening. There was still suffering over that and identifying after that, and there was still identifying happening. But then after that moment, I knew so deeply that the essence was awakeness, not things. Now, in a way, that was an experience, because we don't know consciousness is without things. Like, I knew that consciousness that had been revealed to me was the basis of everything. That came first. But in a way, in our experience, the consciousness and the things rise at the same thing. Existence arises. So I knew after that non-existence that I'd experienced, or that no thing, that awakeness of nothing, was also happening when there were things, when there was things appearing. But in a way, it was an experience, because the actual experience is there's always things, or there's always something happening. Whether that's for someone or not for someone, that's irrelevant. But it's like, what we know is there is existence, and there is perception of existence. And that's what always is. We don't know deep sleep, or we don't know awakeness with out things. Like, in a way, that was an experience, because I can remember it. So it's something that's happening in things. If I had that experience again, I wouldn't remember the awakening experience from before. So we don't know deep sleep. We don't know non-existence. Non-existence doesn't exist. So we only know existence. And in existence, there is this perception that's happening. And when you go deeply into that perception isn't separate from things. So the only conclusion that we can have is that things are conscious, that everything is conscious, and that consciousness is nothing. And it's totally freaking mysterious. And there's also this sense of existence, this sense that it's happening. That's the love side. So thank you for your question. I'm sure that finished you off and pushed you over the cliff, and you woke up in that moment. Lisa, I just love this moment. Can you comment on it? I can comment on you loving this moment. Please comment. Please give your review of what I said. You know, like it's like Amazon. It's like, you know, they send you a message afterwards. Is it Amazon or some products? They send you a message afterwards saying, can you please review my product? It's like that. Can you please comment? Yes. 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 Hey again. the chocolate person? Is consciousness just a knowing of itself? If so, how can this be when there is no body self to experience this? The body doesn't experience. The body's dead meat. The body never experienced. The body is like Google goggles or a virtual headset that you put on, and then you look at the world through that body. But the body is never experiencing. It's dead meat. The person never experiences. It doesn't live or exist as well. Not to talk about him, of course, his persona, but to comment on his statement that there is no guru. You are the guru, like he said, never mind. Yeah, there is no guru. Yeah. There is no guru and there is a guru. And somewhere in between that you find the answer. Like, so from like, there is a guru and there isn't a guru. What's that famous saying? In the beginning, everything is real. This world is real. The mountains are real. Everything is real. Then the mountains aren't real. There is no world. Blah, 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 in that stage. And then eventually the mountains are real and the mountains aren't real. It's something like that, it's a famous old Zen quote, one of them. So in the beginning, the mountains are real. Then the mountains become not real. Then the mountains become real and not real. Hey, Hannah. Hi, Lisa. Nice to see you again. Yes, nice to see you. Hannah? I love sayings. Some people don't like the whole chakra teaching and everything, and they complain about feelings in the body and getting to know your feelings and all those sorts of things. But if you listen to sayings, they're always pointing to wisdom. So say the saying of, is there anything you'd like to get off your chest? So this is something we say in England. I'm not sure if we say it in America, but it's definitely said in England. I'm sure the Americans say something. Is there anything you'd like to get off your chest? And what does that mean, like get off your chest? It obviously means that feelings are inside the body, that you feel things in your body, and that you have this feeling in your chest, like heartache or something, and you need to get it off your chest. Or you feel like you've got the whole world on your shoulders. Like so, or what's the other one? A frog in your throat when you feel sad. Our languages of all these different cultures says the same thing. So in the chakra system, it's pointing to that you feel your feelings in your body. Like that when you feel sad, you feel it often in your throat. When you feel heartache, you feel it in your chest. When you feel fear, it's in the pit of your stomach. And I like the chakra system because I think it helps people become aware of their emotions, because often we think that emotions are a story in our head. So if I say to someone, how do you feel? They say, I feel like this person was a bit of an asshole, blah, 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 blah. And that's not what's being asked. It's how do you feel? What's your body saying? And I think that understanding the body and understanding your feelings helps to reduce seeking. And then in the reduction of seeking, then there's another possibility that can be seen. If you're really suffering and really in mental agony, then everything is so closed and small, it's so hard to hear that there is something else happening. Is there something you would like to get off your chest? Well, I currently have a pheasant on my chest. I would like to get a pheasant off my chest. It's so weird, life, isn't it? It's so abstract. How to overcome an old collective energy pain that occurs in meeting an ethnic friend again, if one is too sensitive and easy to lose the path when met a stubborn negative person. That's all your stories around it. Basically, there is something in your body that hurts, and then you're getting lost in the stories. And it's like, there is pain. There is pain. There is a story that wants to burst out and tell stories. It's just staying with the pain, like going through all those stories, seeing they're not true, not true, not true. And there is this raw pain of vulnerability or fear or lack of love, whatever it is, just totally acknowledging it. Here it is. And happiness, freedom is not found in having that pain or not having that pain. It's who you are. It's this conscious perception and empty looking. And this alive presence, that's who you are, and that's freedom. But the moment you think it's in not feeling that pain and getting away from it, and you're lost in the stories of the pain, and that is suffering. Yes, we have the same sayings in America. We have that one as well. Well, I also came to this conclusion that consciousness is all there is and it is no thing. I wonder why there are things appearing and disappearing. It looks like consciousness is not happy in its state. No, it's expressing itself. It can't be happy or not happy. It's expressing itself, and its expression is love. The fact that it expresses is love. The person is the one that's like wanting something better or something less. I can't convince you of that though. That's the way it is. Hit me. Hit me with your rhythm stick. Love is true. I mean, there is like, on the human level, there's things that you prefer and don't prefer, but true love is who you are. Love of being, love without conditions, without reason, and that's your essence. You don't need to evoke that or call that in. It's the way it is. I really have to go for a toilet. Excuse me. Thank you, Lisa. Currently, I cannot afford one-to-one sessions. I only choose choices to contact you during life. Do you want to talk to me and help me to dissolve that emotional bundle cloud? I'll just answer this question, Hannah, and then we see if we do that. It's sometimes quite intense for other people to. I don't mind doing it. For other people to listen to somebody unbundle their emotional cloud, it can be helpful, but it can also be difficult for people to listen to. But maybe I'll see how this question goes. This is hard. Yeah. Well, that wasn't exactly a question, Hannah, so maybe we have a go. Okay, we have a go, Hannah. There is nobody else, so we can have a go. And if it gets too heavy, we can stop. Hey, Hannah. Hello. No, it's a really bad line. Do you think you could just turn off your video or call me back just with out video? Bye. Hello, Hannah. Yeah, hey. Oh, that's such a good line. It was really bad a moment ago. That's better. Oh, yeah. Nice. So how are you today? What's the feeling that you have? Yeah. 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 Sunset doesn't. Yeah. Feeling sadness. And are you doing your regular stuff that you need to do in the winter of like exercising and maybe taking vitamin D, making sure you eat fruit and vegetables, fresh fruit and vegetables?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm taking vitamins and exercising.
So just the basics are covered of that, because sometimes in the winter, like low vitamin D can make you feel very low energy and not going out and having very little sunshine. If it's cold, not going out and walking and doing exercise. So that's good that you're doing all those things.
Yes.
And is it low energy, or is it that you're getting stuck in lots of negative thinking?
Yes, I'm stuck in negative thinking.
So what type of
Okay.
thoughts are going around in your head? What are you getting stuck on?
Yes, it's a story. Actually, we just moved to another city and we met new friends, which are from my ethnic background.
Yeah.
And in the conversation with them, awakens inside that old old teenage like pain, emotional. If you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay. When I was teenage, maybe every child does this, feeling very bullied and bullied down, and those feelings awakened again, meeting those people, and I am a very sensitive person.
Yeah.
And very easy to be drugged, but last year's exercise meditation helped a little. I could keep my center.
Yeah.
It was much better, but it shows me I'm not so much developed being.
These things come and go. Like sometimes things pass through easier and sometimes they don't. So I'm just going to go back to basics for not just for you but for other people that are listening. So the fundamental of suffering is being attached to pleasure and avoiding pain, and this belief that you exist and that you've got to have a pleasurable life. So say if we go back to my dog Khaleesi, she has no idea that she exists and that she's got to have 15 happy years of life. Like, she doesn't know that she exists, that she was born and that she's going to die. To her, she just is. She's this vibrant being, and whatever is happening is what's happening, and she doesn't worry about having happy experiences because she doesn't know the difference between happy experiences and bad experiences. So if she feels fearful, she's afraid. So when she's with other dogs, unfortunately, it's very easy to have a well-behaved dog, but unfortunately, we had some difficult scenarios happen when she was a puppy. She first of all was a street dog, and then she got brought back to Europe, and I didn't have a permanent residence when I came back to Europe very quickly, and I had to leave her with people, and she developed aggression with certain dog types, with certain dogs. So now she can be a little bit aggressive, and she has to wear a muzzle because she can get on with most dogs, but every so often there's one dog that she just wants to have a fight with. And if I had better routine as a puppy, I could have got that out of her, but I haven't, and I haven't managed to get it out of her. So when we walk around and she sees another dog that she doesn't like, as long as that dog is under control, and as long as she's not too full of energy, like really not being exercised that whole day, and it's like late in the afternoon and she's really hyper, then generally I can say no to her and she ignores. But what happens is if heckles on her back comes up, and she's obviously uncomfortable, but I tell her she's not allowed to do anything, and so she ignores it. But she's obviously distressed by seeing a certain type of dog, and internally that would be very uncomfortable feelings. She feels that dog's going to attack her. She feels that dog is dangerous. She feels like she needs to defend something, and she's been told she's not allowed to do that. So there's obviously uncomfortable feelings in her body. But then once we've walked past that dog, she then is again her normal self. She's like, oh, I'm going to pee on this, and then I'm going to do that. And she completely forgets herself. And she just goes back to normal feeling, and she's just totally in the next thing that's happening. What happens with us as humans is we identify with the body when we're young, and then we look at our experience, and we're always judging our experience, and we always want it to be pleasurable. And we're told happiness is pleasurable, but actually your essence is pleasurable. So what happens with Khaleesi is once she's walked past that dog and it's no longer in her experience, she's not repeating the story that's in her experience, and she just goes back to her essence, which is this empty looking and joy. And that's her essence, even when that feeling's there. But because she's not identified with the feeling, when the feeling goes, there is just this natural way of being. And even in that feeling, there's this natural way of being, this intimacy with everything that's happening. But the human repeats the story of what happened, and it doesn't want to feel that feeling of pain again. So it keeps repeating stories about whose fault it is, or why it happened, or what it can do. And basically is it doesn't want to feel what's happening. So when you're at school, like with Khaleesi, when she was on the street, she repetitively got beaten up by certain types of dogs. So she has a trauma there, or she has a discomfort there around certain types of dogs. And like with you, when they do certain things, it reminds you of when you were in your youth. It reminds you of being bullied. And then there is an attachment to that feeling. First of all, you think it's happening to you, and then you don't want to feel that feeling. By not feeling it, you begin to make up stories about it, about them, about you, about what happened, and your mind keeps repeating it. And that's you avoiding it, going over and over again in your head. You're trying to find a way out of that feeling.
Yes.
And really...
And I got...
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, it's... I got addicted lately to a TV series.
To what, sorry?
and TV, Netflix drama.
Yeah.
And it's not helping at all.
The Netflix drama.
Yes, a very nice drama, but still the feeling is not leaving, and story keeps repeating even stronger in the mind. So distraction not helping.
Yeah. That's okay. It's actually, do you know, when even now, actually, if I've got emotional pain in my body, I sometimes actually will watch things on Netflix to help me cry about it or get that emotion moving. You know, when the emotion is just stuck in your body. So you can actually use Netflix to explore that feeling. It's not that it's not helping. You can use it to explore what's happening. Are you saying that the Netflix TV series exasperates it, or that it means that you just watch it to avoid the feeling?
Yes, I think I watch it to avoid the feeling.
Ah, yeah, right. So I was thinking you meant something else. I thought you meant that the TV series is scaring you with bullying or something. Because actually, if it's scaring you or bringing up fear, then you can use that to explore the feeling and to help release the feeling. But if it's just that you're using it to avoid it, I mean, there's nothing wrong with a bit of avoidance. Kicking back, you don't have to be doing this all the time. Like thinking about yourself all the time and doing this all the time also isn't healthy. It's just a little bit of sitting with the feeling. So if you can just do a little bit of when the feeling becomes really intense, instead of just running to watching TV or thinking about it, or talking about it, or eating, or cleaning, or whatever your vice is, just sitting with that feeling for a bit. Just sitting there, just sitting still. You don't even need to do anything. It's just not moving with that feeling and just letting it pass through. It will pass through.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Okay, I will sit with the feeling.
Yeah, that's it. And like you can explore and you can do like emotional release, like remember a little bit about your childhood and what it was to be bullied and why you feel it and what color the feeling is and where you feel it, and you can explore it a little bit. But also too much of thinking about yourself isn't so good. It's like always in balance.
Mm-hmm.
Like you meet some people that are constantly like exploring their feelings, and that's addictive as well, like emotional release. Basically, understanding what the feeling is, understanding where you feel it in your body, understanding the connection to past stories, and then just sitting with it, just allowing it to be fully there without any effort to get rid of it. Just sit still and let it play out and do its little dance.
Mm-hmm. Earlier today I put the timer for 20 minutes and
nice.
sat with the feeling.
Yeah.
And after 20 minutes, it was gone.
Yeah.
And I was very happy and played with my kids, patted them, and it comes again. Stories.
Yeah, this is the habit. The reason that it stays is your attempt to avoid it. So what happens is in that moment is that it just passes. It's not seen as a big deal. But then when you're playing with your kid or later on in the day, maybe the thought comes up and the feeling comes up again, and then your natural habit is to avoid it, and then it exasperates it and makes it bigger. It's something that this can take time sometimes, and then eventually it just runs its own course. You recondition yourself to stop trying to avoid the feelings, and the seeking dissipates.
So avoidance is the problem.
Always. That's what the separate self is. The me is always seeking in time for a better now, or trying to avoid the future, and that can give you good feelings, seeking for a better now, and it can also haunt you. It can also give you a very high feeling, and sometimes a good emotional release practice is imagining a better now, because sometimes you're too addicted to the negative. There's lots of different things the person can do and use to try to help move emotions and feelings.
Just to be clear, then it comes back, and instead of trying to avoid, acknowledge it and stay with the feeling again and again.
Yeah, and if you're getting too stuck in the feeling, then you focus on what you want, because sometimes you can get too stuck in it and it's too much, and then you focus on what you want. So what it is I want is love, what I want is peace, and you just bring that up again to your thoughts, because sometimes you get stuck and the feeling overwhelms you. Yeah.
So if I have to meet that person regularly, I cannot avoid the person.
Yeah.
So I cannot. Could you say that it would become better if I have to meet that?
I can't guarantee you anything, but a great way to look at it is that this person is a meditation for you.
My teacher.
Yeah.
Very, very big teacher.
Yeah.
Okay. Like my nightmare come to life.
Maybe.
Yeah. I'm really afraid, to be honest.
I work with this person, yeah. Yeah.
Like Felicia.
Like what, sorry?
Felicia, like a dog. Felicia.
Khaleesi, yeah.
Yeah, Felicia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Thank you very much. I will try and
Thanks,
see.
Anna, and thank you for phoning in and sharing and expressing, because I'm sure it's helpful for other people as well. Thank you.
I hope so. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Nice, guys. Okay, I am going to go now. That seems like the nice place to end. Thank you so much for sharing, participating, for expressing yourself. I love you, and I shall see you on Wednesday at 6 p.m. French time. Bye, guys and ladies. I'm sorry, guys is a very old-fashioned thing that's most probably sexist now. So, people. Bye, people.